Broadcasting from the world-famous Bondi Beach, this is Bondi Radio.
Hello, Bondi Radio. This is Sheena Alexandra here with the Wellness Radio Show. And today we have two lovely ladies flown in from California. Mm-hmm. So excited for this chat. I'm still buzzing from last night after seeing you both perform. I would say it was a performance.
It was. Yes.
It wasn't a speech. It was something that I would have expected maybe in a theater or on the TEDx stage, perhaps. Mm-hmm. But welcome, Caitriona and Michele. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. It's such a delight. Thank you. We're honored. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we have so much to talk about, and I would like to just start to understand a little bit more about you as people, where you've come from, and how you two met, and the wonderful work that you are doing on this planet.
Thank you. Yes.
So, Michele, would you like to start?
Yes. I would say that I am a woman of mixed heritage, so that plays out a lot in my life, as it was a bit of confusion at the beginning when I was on two different shores and felt like I didn't really fit in anywhere. I don't know if any of you feel or ever felt that way before, but it was difficult in my formative years, and now I feel like instead of being on two different shores, I'm making bridges constantly in my life between differences, and you could say that a lot of my work is around diversity.
Yes. Okay. When you say that you're from two different places, where specifically in the globe?
Right. So East and West.
Okay.
And so I could say my heart is in Japan.
Okay.
And my mother is my heart, and then my father is more of how I communicate and learned to communicate. Mm-hmm. So I think in Japanese and I speak in English.
Oh, really?
So I'm American and Japanese.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's. Do you dream in Japanese?
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my images. Yeah. And more so that I've gone back and really come to recognize that I have so much in common there, where, it's a place I haven't really lived. Mm-hmm. I lived mostly in America.
Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. How long were you living in Japan?
I started out my formative years, so I was a very young child. From 1 to about 4 or 5 years old, and then I landed in East LA of all places.
Right, okay.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm from LA, so I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it was quite a mixture and diversity.
Sorry, ladies, I'm just...
something... Coffee.
Yeah, it's a coffee chat, and we can't have coffee chat without coffee.
Exactly.
Great. And so, how did you meet Caitriona? And
well, I actually was a martial artist at the beginning.
Right.
I did a lot of hardstyle martial arts, and then I saw something that really spoke to my heart, which is more soft style. It's physically rigorous, Aikido, but it's considered a nonviolent martial art. Mm-hmm. And I was actually looking for other kinds of yoga schools to do stretching and yoga of the mind kind of thing. So I went to a meditation center, and I met a man in robes, a very strange man in robes, and wound up, instead of doing yoga, meditation. So when I sat there on that cushion, I felt so much at home. I could do this. It was in my bones. Mm-hmm. And he became a good friend of mine, and also he was a good friend of Caitriona.
Right, okay.
So one time he was name dropping all the time, this name, and I'm like, who is this person? So I feel like it was a little bit of a setup. We were set up,
okay.
Yeah. And actually our eyes met across the meditation hall. Wow. And when the bell rang, I sort of saw, Caitriona, and she saw me, and it was like, that was it.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, and it's been 36 years.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
Except at the time I was, I'm not quite who I am as a woman of transgendered experience. And I say it like this, as a woman of transgendered experience, I know a lot about making big scary changes, which I'm sure you don't have to be transgender to know about making big scary changes. I know about committed decisions because it takes a bite out of your life.
Yeah.
And I also know that things are not always what they seem. because growing up as a child, you don't know who you are. None of us know who we are. It evolves, it forms, and then, oh, wait a minute, I'm not a guy, I'm not a bloke, I'm a girl. Well, I don't even know what that means at this point in my life, if I ever knew. So we transitioned, so to speak, in the relationship. I say Michele made me do it because it was a question of, will you be authentic and true to yourself, or will you be miserable? I don't want to be with a miserable person. I would rather you change your sex.
I said something's got to change.
Beautiful.
Then,
Okay, wait, so let me just get this straight. You met Caitriona as a man.
Yes,
okay.
I did.
Can I ask what your male name was?
it was Christopher.
Christopher. Okay, so Christopher at the time saw you from across the room.
Yes.
You connected.
Yes.
And how long into the relationship? I mean, because you had been living with your gender identity for most of your life.
Right, and I was fairly out as a gender confused person, so she was aware that there was, but I didn't have a name for it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was aware. I saw pictures, but you don't know until you live it what's going on, and for both of us, we didn't know. And so it was a real, sort of a rite of passage, if you will, in relationships. And let's face it, everybody in relationships, they have to change, or they separate, or move away from each other. And we just decided to move closer in.
Right, that's beautiful.
The so-called transition began at our first meeting. The finalization, whatever that means, the definitive changing of documents is sort of what it happened about 15 years later.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. And I think the more, especially for me, I'm seeing this more and more often. I have a very good friend who just got out of a relationship with someone who was born a woman, but considered himself a man. And at first, from the outside, it is very confusing because on paper, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But when I met this person, everything about him was male, you know? And so when I see Caitriona and I saw you on stage, I mean, you are just glowing feminism and power and authenticity, and it's not until you experience this that you can understand that there is something going on here that is not I feel like society puts us in these boxes and what the norm is, and that's completely farthest away from the truth. And
absolutely, it is the farthest away from the truth.
I mean, we would probably see this in the animal kingdom. If we were an animal and we knew what animals thought, they probably are the same way on some level,
And, we live in dangerous and challenging times, but one of the good things about the times we live in is that they're not just in the realm of gender identity, but in the realm, certainly in the cities in Australia, certainly where we live in Southern California, in a very broad sense, there is room for people to reinvent, recreate themselves as a masterpiece of ongoing creation. And so the gender is no longer in the box. Because we're abolishing gender, we're also abolishing a lot of other things in the realm of identities.
Absolutely, and I'm living proof of that too. It's like, where are my loyalties? I was always asked where my loyalties were, and essentially you find that your loyalties are, first of all, developed, and from a personal value sense of what do I value in life, rather than who do I value in life. And so the value for me was basically love and bridging between polarized viewpoints as well as polarized peoples. So that, for me, was the most important thing.
And authenticity.
Authenticity, definitely.
How much did the meditation play in your acceptance of something that's out of the
It was amazing, actually. I think that, my mother took me to Japan for the first time when I was 21 after I had been gone for a long time, since I was a child, and I remember going inside of a big hollow Buddha in Kamakura, Japan, and I was looking out through the eyes of the Buddha, basically, this icon, this image, and then, I was also, at that time I was sort of a practicing Catholic as well, so I didn't see any contradictions. It was wonderful to me to actually see more rather than less, So, it was a narrow field before, and now I could see more. And then, as I practiced more meditation, I could actually incorporate more in my small world.
Okay.
Because everybody starts with a small world, right? The world is so small. It's what you know, it's what your conditions are in your life, it's how your parents taught you, your role models. And then it begins, through meditation, it just broadens. It becomes a wider scope.
Yes.
You see more, you understand more, and therefore there's an inner peace that develops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that you're asking this, because so often we are asked, like, it's my journey, how was it for you? And people forget that it's a mutual journey. In some ways, as challenging or equally, it was an equal journey both ways. And so often the challenge at the time, those years ago during the drama of the transition, the focus was on me as if it didn't. A lot of assumptions are made.
Right.
And so it's a pleasure for me to hear you ask Michele these
how
questions.
was it? Because when you're the person not going through the big transformation, well, you're going through a transformation nevertheless.
Yes, absolutely.
We all touch each other.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Caitriona, what's your side of the story? Where are you from, and what brought you? I want to hear what you thought of Michele in the room.
So,
what did
I like you. I'm transatlantic. I have a parent of English and American, and have never really felt fully at home. I identify culturally as British. I prefer to live in the US, but I don't think of myself, after all these years, more than 30 years, as American. So I have that sense of mixed, and I don't particularly think of myself as male or female. It's not.
You're Caitriona.
Who wakes up in the morning? Who wakes up in the morning and well, what gender shall I be today?
Absolutely.
There are people who do that, who are living a line.
Absolutely.
And great. So when I met Michele, I just finished a 3-month silent intensive retreat. I was being set up as this person.
Yes.
The stage was set, and it was pretty instant. It's hard to say, because there were lots of I had lots of signals that, because you were not very articulate as you are now.
No,
not very
I was
vocal
silent as well. I won't say the grave, but I was very
shy.
quiet.
Shy.
I was, like I said, I think in Japanese, I speak in English. Well, I didn't really speak in English for a long time. I was always thinking in Japanese.
Right.
So it took me a while to actually come out and decide, well, I better communicate more, because, it's a very talkative country. And people, that's how they communicate, whereas in Japan, there's a subtler language.
Right.
There's more intuition, empathy, there's more stuff like that on a level of non-communication.
Right.
So that's the way I was communicating, and so maybe it was difficult for you to communicate.
Well, I remember, driving along the road and saying, "Penny for your thoughts," and 40 miles would go by,
and the penny would drop.
So I must have enjoyed the silence.
You did.
I think we just moved into a place of confidence and trust.
Yes.
With each other, though it wasn't always easy. We didn't externalize those challenges. There was something we just wrote it, and it has taken us all these years to come to a place where we can be together, converse together with someone like yourself, without a push and a pull to it, and yield. And even though, of course, we could both do it with other people long ago, we had teaching together was often a challenge until the last.
I was just going to say. So, when did you guys identify that you can work? Because not all people can work together. So not only are you a couple, but you're also working together, and you're beautiful, Manzanita home in San Diego, San Diego County, I would say.
Yes.
How did that magic?
Well, we were teaching before that.
Okay.
We were leading retreats almost from the time we got together.
Pretty much.
And I came to LA as a photographer, and within minutes was asked to teach a yoga class, co-lead a meditation retreat, feeling entirely unworthy and unequipped. Then the teacher, who was our mutual friend who'd introduced us, got sick, so I had to do it on my own, teaching this solemn, serious thing called Buddhist meditation, Vipassana. And so I needed, within a year or two, to pull in a co-conspirator.
Yes.
And we somehow did it together. Yeah.
It was amazing.
And we did it well. And we traveled a lot. We taught in Europe. But it's out of, I guess we wanted to keep doing it enough so that in the end it worked itself out.
It did. I think we had spiritual values on our value list. Integrity, authenticity, and spirituality were very high on both of our ends. So we knew how to weather the storm. That was really important, and I see so many relationships where it gets a little bit tough and one of them bails, or there's an intimacy issue or something. And for us, it was our path was the driving force in our relationship rather than our relationship.
Right, that's it.
So it made it a relationship path of spiritual practice instead of just a relationship path.
Yeah, that's right.
And as time went on, 20 years ago, we simultaneously and mutually decided if this is unconditional, it doesn't need to be closed.
Exactly.
And we have both at different times had serious, significant others in our life.
Yes, so it was polyamorous.
There was no safety net.
That is so interesting that you say that. I mean, going on a little bit of a side journey. I wasn't going to talk about this today,
who would know?
I had an experience with an ex-partner, and he's accusing me of cheating on him. We were together for 3.5 years, and it's just been brought up in the last week that he thought I was cheating on him. And I said to him, I don't believe in monogamy. I believe that if two people are going to be together, they will be together.
It's so true.
And that's it. That comes from my heart, and that comes from everything I know. And so the fact that you are so strong together is you make that choice every single day.
Yes, we do.
And you don't have to. And if you don't want to, then you'll go somewhere else.
Yes.
And it leads to a lot of freedom because it's almost like being celibate. There's no risk there's no risk you're going to lose something or the other person is going to be cheated of something because there's a basic trust and a longevity to it. I mean, it would be very hard for either of us to say, well, look, I'm going to go and live with this other person. It could happen.
It could happen, but it would be very difficult.
It would be so inconvenient.
Yeah, it would totally. Yes, to our, our spiritual path, in that sense, our path of integrity in the world.
But having that makes it so much freer.
Yeah, because when you are together, you know that you're making that choice.
Right.
And you're not there because of a marriage certificate or because of a house that you both have or whatever. And
it can all go. It doesn't matter.
You've broken away from some of the society's biggest problems, and people live in fear, in hiding.
What we were talking about last night.
Absolutely.
Yes. The fear and the safety issue. The safety, am I lovable? Will anyone love me? If this person loves me, maybe it's the only person who will ever love me. And it's that contraction and the conditionality of agreements that really are dehumanizing.
Well, it also reinforces, too, basic neurosis in relationships. And if you will compromise and let me be like this even though you don't like it, then I can be like this, and that's not the way relationships need to go to get stronger.
Right.
And it has to be said, I'm thinking of people listening to this who are in really healthy monogamous relationships. That's a path too.
That's
I think we're suited.
Yes.
We're all on our own path in relationships.
Yes.
I like Michele says, I think there are a lot of people who are monogamous out of a neurosis and fear.
Yes.
And as long as that's being examined, it stays healthy.
Really
but if
healthy.
it contracts into, no, you can't do that. You were looking at him, you were looking at her.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there are better ways to spend your day.
I know. Again, let's look back at the animal kingdom. They don't do that. They just enjoy having sex.
Yes.
Well, some do. I mean, there are some I was thinking about some Australian bird that's monogamous, and certain birds in the old world are monogamous.
Do you think about that?
I think about that a lot, And then there are primates very close to us who are far from monogamous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was not on our conversation, though.
No, it wasn't.
But I like the flow.
Here we are.
The flow is good.
So can we talk about last night?
Yes.
I really, like I said, that was a performance. It was beautiful to see Caitriona in her element, and then you powerfully yet quietly supporting her in all the right moments.
Yes.
One time you were on this side of the room, the next time you were on the other side of the room, taking photos, participating vocally. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Part of that is our understanding that creating games, creating play, creating gamification is a key way for people to learn.
Yeah.
So there was a time when I would speak and I'd tell stories, or the same for you.
I would
and it was great,
It was all content.
Telling stories
and no
was great.
experiential.
Yes.
And more than experiential, having it, you had a piece of paper in that last little game we did that could have been a Wi-Fi signal. It could have been a rainbow, and you chose for it to be a rainbow.
Right.
Exactly.
And what that tells us in the experience of the game about the mind that is 100 times more powerful than just describing.
Absolutely.
Or the brain game, the laying out the map of the brain in the room.
Yes.
And it's memorable.
Oh, and that first exercise that we did. You're horrible. You're not going to go anywhere. You're the greatest. You're the greatest. And then Michele pipes in with the ego. I just thought that was so brilliant.
Yes.
And it's funny because your voice just cut through all of the other clutter, and it was so powerful.
Right.
You could really see it.
Yes.
That's why I said it was a performance, because you were feeling it, and I brought in my little picture. I got this little picture, which I see as a rainbow, and
which it is now.
It is a rainbow, but. So I was the one that told my partner to go first. So he picked a pony, and my partner's name was Howard. And he picked a pony, and he was talking very eloquently about how this pony represented his life. So I'm like, I got to think of something, and I didn't really know what to think of. But rainbow has played a big part of my new path that I'm on. And I told him that this represents the cross street that I live on. So about 3 months ago, I got uprooted to Coogee, and I made a vision board of what I wanted, and less than 10 days later, my vision board came to fruition. My vision, and that's happened a few times, but it crossed Rainbow Street, and one of the photos in the vision board was my daughter on a rainbow hammock, and so when I pulled this, I thought this is a right move for me. I'm going down a really good path. This new journey of being on the radio and interviewing people and following my intuition and where my soul is feeling happy. And so I was able to it just came out. And he was like, "Oh, that's really interesting, really interesting." And then I went home. He said, "You know what this looks like?" He's like, "This looks like an amplifier." And I thought, oh, right, interesting. And at that same moment, I ended up getting an email from my developer. They had launched my website that has been taken 6 months to launch. So meanwhile, as I'm moving paths, it's been a real struggle in my previous role as, and I call myself a brand amplifier or a content creator. It's in video, but this is my logo. This is actually part of my logo.
Oh my goodness!
I have
Fantastic.
I have not. I have seen
yeah.
this every day for the past month as I finalized the last 6 months it's taken me to launch this. It's been under construction. But why did I not represent this to my career? Why does this represent my new path, and how do I interpret that?
Yes.
I mean, I've been looking at this for the past month, and yet this didn't resonate with me as my business.
Oh, and you know something? Most of the time we think that the information or the aha is going to come as a really neat package and a strategy and a plan, but oftentimes it just comes in another realm of visual, like just simply staying with that visual and staying with the feeling that it evokes, and also the stories that it evokes, memories, and some maybe new fantasies of the vision, and then the strategy comes to fruition. It comes about. So we have so many different ways of making that connection. other than, you know.
But you did.
Yeah. And
we're talking about it now. You did link it.
Yeah.
You linked it.
And
like
the struggle is still there. The struggle between my old and my new is still there.
But why would it not be? Why would you want it not to be? It's not. Think of it not as a struggle, but as a dynamic tension that allows you to bring the best of the old into the best of the new, and and keep those lessons. You know, there's any number of ways you could rearrange that.
Yeah.
I find in talking to so many people, there is a strong tendency, and I think it's. I won't qualify it by countries, but just generally to be away from things. People know what they don't like, but they don't know what they like.
Yes.
And so the things that we're away from have a lot of good in them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we get so lost at sea without having things to dislike. People, ideas, life paths.
That person, this person.
So I think you did come with it, and you came with it at the right time, or you followed through with the image, but you realized it a beat or two after it came into your...
Exactly. You're making those connections.
And that's a key.
Yeah.
So what is it about you that it enables you to make connections?
Exactly.
Not just have a singular, that's when you forget the rest.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe merge them both. Maybe that's what they're saying.
Exactly.
I just told my dad, I'm going to give this, I'm driving for Uber now. And I'm like, I'm just going to get, he's like, no, Sheena, you don't want to do that, you know, but I mean, we won't go into the details, but it has been a hard path. Starting my business here in Australia on my own, you know, and so maybe this is a reassurance that I am actually on the right path, and this new website is the right path.
Exactly. Yes.
Of course.
Everything's connected in a way. This is our main teaching, is that, you know, if our experience is something we want to throw out, then you're not going to learn from it. And so everything is connected. There is the good elements, the productive elements, and elements that we don't see any good in. And sometimes what our wounds are and what we need to heal is the very thing that creates the new shift in our thinking or job even.
Right.
You know, so many people take their wounds and create great, amazing services out of that.
It's a huge piece of what we do to help people really understand that moment to moment we're making meanings, we're coming to conclusions, we're making decisions based on assumptions and meanings that we've created, and that can be different. That can be anything we want. So rather than asking themselves, you know, how much pleasure can I experience, they ask, like, what's wrong here? What can I fix? What can I ignore? But that's a choice of temperament, of upbringing, of conditioning. And I really, and it's so counter to our collective puritanical roots, to Buddhist roots, to so-called spiritual religious roots, which shun joy, which shun ecstasy and celebration, or are very conditional about it.
That's right.
And we're born for pleasure. We're born for joy. We're born for creativity. And it isn't pleasure at the expense of others.
No, it's not.
It's a collaboration. So I mean, what you're saying about the meaning-making piece is really at the key of the magic. I say magic because it's magical. When a person changes their life from miserable to ecstatic.
Exactly.
I related so well at the very beginning of the chat yesterday about the important decisions that people have to make. I mean, that point of, I mean, fear of you know, the
closing down, and instead of opening up in that very moment. Sure, it hurts, you know, when you're experiencing something that feels like the natural response is to close down. But, you know, with a little bit of compassion, you can allow yourself to really know what that is, and then from there open, you know, because it's the way to go rather than further down.
That's right.
And that's all we're saying, basically. This is the basis of our work.
So let's talk about your work. Do you work with people like me, like on a one-to-one basis? Is that right? And then you also have retreats, and you've written in many books, and let's talk a little bit about that.
So we have the retreat center, which is we chose it deliberately to be far away. It's within 2.5 hours of LA, 2 hours of San Diego, so it's close in some ways, and in other ways it's very remote. We have no lights from neighbors, no sound from neighbors. We're surrounded by many, many, many thousands of acres of national forest. And we choose that deliberately because in that way people can be free of distraction.
Yeah.
And the land itself has an innate wisdom, as land does anywhere. So we're lazy. We wanted the land to do a lot of the work for us.
And it does.
So there's that. We do retreats there.
Yeah.
And although we work with clients all over the world, we encourage them as part of our package is a 2 or 3 day VIP personal retreat where they work with both of us.
Yes.
And it's powerful. And yes, we work with people like you because we work with creatives.
Yes,
we work
love
with people
creatives.
who are not looking to get from really messed up to okay, but people who are doing okay and see that there's some
bigger place.
Not even some, but a boundless capacity for excelling in life and in business. And it's interesting, last night we were in a business setting and our friend Claire wanted to contextualize it into business, which is entirely appropriate.
Yes.
And I don't really see any difference because the people we work with are often either business owners or entrepreneurs or artists. You know, a rainbow, let's call it, a rainbow of. They're not usually working, or if they are, they're trying to get out of a robotic role in an organization.
Right.
So they're looking to be really at choice in their life in some way, even if they are a cog in a large organization machine. That's not necessarily a bad thing if the organization is healthy.
Exactly.
So we work with a range of people, but I think the common thing is they understand they're not victims.
That's the common thing, is like if they've already done some kind of stretching of their capacity to understand and learn from some of their deepest pain, then they've got that choice open, that door open, and so they can have more choices instead. And so that's the creative aspect of our work. This flexibility. You know, the key is, are you flexible? Can you be flexible?
And 5 changes, our organization is really, it's changes. And 5 is a number in Chinese systems and in Western systems. 5 is the number of transition. It's the grid.
Right, okay.
So it's changes. It's all about changes.
Yes. And so we also have an online training portal that you're working on with Claire.
Yes.
So
and we have our own too. That we're going to be. Can I encourage people to
Absolutely.
go to
That's what this time is for.
To 5changes.com.
Yes. Okay.
And it's spelled out FIVE.
Yes.
And it's not up there now, but soon, within the next month, we're going to be announcing a video training, a short video training
because of where we are.
We'll be giving some really crucial tools specifically around how to shift the meaning-making process, how to come into an ecstatic state. Ecstatic sounds strong, but we're talking about really joy.
Beautiful. Yes, a great word for it, I think.
And how to create safety within oneself so that you can go out and fulfill your goals and ambitions. Because we often stop ourselves from doing what we know we can because of old patterns of thinking, well, it's not safe, and what happens if nobody buys it? What happens if nobody
there's so
loves
much
me?
fear of rejection, especially when these are changing times. You know, the jobs that we have before have different, qualifications to them. They have different descriptions. We don't even know what the jobs are going to look like in the future, really.
Absolutely.
And we're all sort of making this up and creating what works now in this highly technological age. We can't even imagine what the youngsters or the ones that are coming into generation now are beginning to experience as far as work. So we're all creating new ways of being together, new ways of connecting, new ways of serving each other. So
it's about owning your essence.
Your soul's masterpiece. Because your essence is a masterpiece in the making.
Yes. Beautiful. What a wonderful way to end this chat. Thank you so much, Michele and Caitriona. I will definitely be seeing you in San Diego next time I go. I can't wait. And all of my friends that are listening that live in San Diego or Los Angeles, you can't really even see me. I really highly suggest taking some time learning more about Michele and Caitriona and visiting their beautiful manzanita.
Like the tree, manzanita, little apple. Little apple. And you can find Manzanita Village, but easiest5changes.com.
Yes.
That's easier.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so
much.
Thank you.
So appreciated being here with you today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Honored. Yeah.
Let's do the jingle. Yes.
I love the jingle, actually.
Broadcasting from the world famous Bondi Beach. This is Bondi Radio.